The initiate in the mysteries was always instructed concerning the existence of three sons, the first of which, the vehicle for God the Father, enlightened and warmed his spirit. The second, the vehicle of God the Son, enfolded and broadened his mind. The third, the vehicle of God the Holy Spirit, nourished and strengthened his body. Light is not only a physical element to these people, it is also a mental and spiritual element. And in the temple, the disciple is told to revere the invisible Son even more than the visible one, for every visible thing is only an effect of the invisible or causal, the generative force represented by an obelisk. And as God is the cause of all causes, he dwells in the invisible world of causation and always in the Trinity, and is represented by the symbol in the Greek alphabet, delta. Delta. As in Lieutenant Colonel James Bobo Gritz of Delta Force. Apuleius, when initiated into the mysteries, beheld the sun shining at midnight, for the chambers of the temple were brilliantly illuminated, although there were no lamps of any kind. The invisible sun is not limited by walls, nor even the surface of the earth itself, because its rays are of a higher vibratory rate than physical substance. You see, they say its light passes unimpeded through all the planes of physical substance. And to those capable of seeing the light of these spiritual orbs, there is no darkness, for they dwell in the presence of limitless light, and at midnight see the sun shining under their feet. And if you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you. You see, they not only lie to you, they lie to themselves. They not only deceive you, they deceive each other. They not only manipulate you, but they manipulate all those below them who have not risen to the degree of initiation where they understand that they have been deceived in the lower rungs of the ladder and begin to see the light. And I can assure you, the light they see is not under their feet. By means of one of the lost arts of antiquity, the priests of the temple were able to manufacture lamps which would burn for centuries without replenishment. The lamps resembled what is commonly called the virgin lamps, or those carried by the Vestal virgins. They were a little smaller than a human hand, and according to available records, their wicks were made of asbestos. It has been maintained that these lamps have burned for 1,000 years or more. One of them, found in the tomb of Christian Rosenkreutz, had burned for 120 years without the supply of fuel being diminished. Or at least, so goes the legend. It is supposed that these lamps, which incidentally burned in hermetically sealed vaults without the aid of oxygen, you see what I mean? It was supposed that they were so constructed that the heat of the flame extracted from the atmosphere a substance which took the place of the original fuel as rapidly as the mysterious oil was consumed. Hargrave Jennings collected many years ago numerous references concerning the times and places where these lamps have been found. And in the majority of cases, however, they went out shortly after the vaults were opened, or else were broken in some strange way so the secret was not discovered, or maybe there just was no secret at all, and maybe those who opened the vault and said they found the lamp burning were lying. No one really knows, and no one is likely to, since there is no proof of any of this at all. Concerning these lamps, Mr. Jennings writes, quote, "The ancient Romans are said to have preserved lights in their sepulchres many ages by the oiliness of gold." And here steps in the art of the Rosicrucians, alchemy. And remember what I told you, these are all metaphors for something much deeper that mean quite a different story than what you may perceive. This oiliness of gold resolved by hermetic methods into a liquid substance, and it is reported that at the dissolution of the monasteries in the time of Henry VIII, there was found a lamp which had then burned in a tomb about 300 years after Christ, nearly 1,200 years. And two of these subterranean lamps are to be seen in the Museum of Rarities at Leyden in Holland, Netherlands. And one of these lamps in the papacy of Paul III was found in the tomb of Tullia, so named, Cicero's daughter, which had been shut up 1,550 years. Now, Madame Blavatsky, in her tome entitled Isis Unveiled, gives a number of formulae for the making of ever-burning lamps and states in a footnote that she herself saw one made by a disciple of the Hermetic arts, which she claims had burned steadily without fuel for 6 years previous to the publication of her book. It's sad, however, that upon publication of her book, those who asked to see the lamp were told that the fire had gone out. So the ever-burning lamp was, of course, a most appropriate symbol, ladies and gentlemen, of the eternal fire in the universe. Remember, all of these stories are metaphors. And while chemistry has denied the possibility of manufacturing one, the fact that many have been made and seen over a period of thousands of years is a warning against dogmatizing. Get the message?